Hi there, and welcome to the Beyond Threats podcast by Bleckmann. I am your host, Erik Janssen Steenberg, and as we do every episode, we're going to take a deep dive in what is changing, what is developing, and the trends in fashion and lifestyle logistics. And this episode, we will be taking that same deep dive, but then in, let's say the sustainability legislation and the innovations in becoming as sustainable as possible for us in logistics and for you, the brands. For this purpose, I am joined today by Stijn Smetsers, the CCO of Seenons, and our very own Ron Thijssen. You've met him before. He's our Bleckmann CSR manager. And I, for one, am very happy to have you guys here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Looking forward to the podcast.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thanks, Erik. Great to be back.
Yeah. So today, with this deep dive, we want to learn more about the WFD, or the Waste Framework Directive, as it's called. And I really need your help on that one. And you guys are working with that on a daily basis. For me, it's a buzzword, potentially for the people listening to our podcast as well. So, after you briefly introduce yourself, I want to get down to business as soon as possible. Stijn, please introduce yourself and explain more about how you got so embedded in the world of recycling and waste management, and of course your role at Seenons.
Yeah, thanks, Erik. So I'm now active for 23 years in logistics and in recycling.
Right.
And then in recycling, I started working for a paper and cardboard collector in Belgium, and then learned about the recycling industry and how everything works. Then in 2019, I decided that it needs to be different. And I founded a company called Recycling Partners Belgium at that time to really help large organizations with making their waste management more efficient and more sustainable as an independent waste broker. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
And then in 2023, we decided to join forces with the Seenons Group. And since then, I'm actually the commercially end responsible of the Seenons Group for Europe.
Okay.
Really focusing on international customers, international expansion, but still with that core getting to sustainable waste management for our customers.
How did you come to the conclusion that the processes or the outcome needed to be different? And so why did you start your own company? Was that because of changed legislation, or?
I thought it was like everybody was screaming like we want to become more circular. We want to have less waste.
Yeah.
But the whole industry, the classic industry, in my eyes, was at that time at least organized in getting more waste, because then people have more revenue from that. The way the traditional waste companies.
Yeah.
And like I always said, it's like, if we look at waste management, we used to start at the back door. You put a container, the customer fills the container, it gets picked up and it gets processed. But actually, the process starts way earlier. It starts at the front door.
Definitely.
If you want to do a better waste management in the back at the back end of your building, let's put it like that. You need to look at what is coming in and how is it coming in, and if it comes into my supply chain, what am I going to do with it? How am I going to sort it? How am I going to dispose of it? With whom? Where is it going? And how can I keep overview of all of that when I'm active in like 10, 15 locations, for example? You need to have like an orchestrator. And that's the role that I saw, and I think we took it, and
so way more hands-on and solution-driven.
Yeah, and also a bit more like holistic, right? Start thinking earlier about how to prevent a ton of waste, because that's always the best ton, right? So no cost, no impact.
Definitely. And Ron, you are doing quite similar work at Bleckmann. And even though he has introduced himself to us several times before, would you nevertheless do us the honor, please?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Thank you very much. Well, as said, name is Ron Thijssen, working now with Bleckmann for almost 15 years.
Yeah.
In the past 6 years, I'm responsible or leading the company in the corporate social responsibility. So it's all about sustainability. And yes, we had those questions that Stijn had a couple of years ago on our waste management, how to reduce waste. And that's quite a challenge.
Yes.
Goods are coming in, boxes are coming in, boxes are going out. I mean, it's very plain, simple business. We cannot really decrease the amount of waste. That's another chapter. But on the other side, we want to be more efficient, more cost effective. Communications had to be better. There had to be a clear reporting structure. Not only that we want to measure and have some KPIs on it, but also in the future, we knowing that the CSRD is coming and that you have to report on your waste. And that's why we started our journey in finding the right partner.
Yeah, and an additional factor to that is, of course, that the ones bringing the waste in, or at least the packaging material and etc., that becomes waste eventually, is our customer. Yes. So, yeah, that thickens the plot. So
yes, to speak. Yes, it's not our waste; it's the waste of our customers.
Yeah. So you've starting to touch why this partnership exists, but can you please, explain what this partnership between Seenons and Bleckmann entails and what it brings, both our companies.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. So I think, we got in contact way back in like 2020, 2021. That was about the time that we started talking to each other. And at that time, we saw together actually that Bleckmann had at that time about 25-ish.
Netherlands 25-ish, Netherlands and Belgium.
Yeah. And we saw that there was no overview or no idea on what are we doing with our waste. So it was very a complex setup. Like every site had a different supplier. Had different solutions. There was no one policy. So we decided that we needed to change it because we want to reach a certain goal, the sustainability, the CSR goals of Ron, of course, amongst others. So that's what we started really with, doing scans on the floor. Like, what are we doing today? What type of materials are there? How are they treated? How are they sorted? What infrastructure is there today? Which suppliers are you working with? So that was like a big exercise. And then we analyzed all that data and put some
KPIs on it.
Really rather offensive KPIs against that. You need to be ambitious, right? So
ambitious. Start small, but nevertheless, we started at 4 sites, 2 in the Netherlands and 2 in Belgium at the time.
Yeah. So that's aggressive.
Well,
aggressive, not offensive, but aggressive.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. It was the bar was set quite high.
Yeah.
We set the recycling rate at 90%.
Yeah.
And see where we end and if it's reachable at all.
If it's at all possible.
And then I think that the pilot went actually well. And we got to those results, not from day one, but we saw that there was like a path towards the goals that we set. And then at the time, it was still under the name of Recycling Partners Belgium, together with our Dutch partner at the time, RCN.
Yeah,
we teamed up to really have like a Benelux approach. And now, since last year, actually, both RPB and RCN are part of the Seenons group. So now, as Seenons, we serve Bleckmann, in a Benelux level, and we're even talking about possibilities to go into UK, into Spain together.
Good.
To really have those advantages there as well.
One approach, one predictable outcome.
Yeah.
Good.
Right, yeah.
And for the viewers and the listeners. And unfortunately, I have to acknowledge, also for me, could you please explain what the EU Waste Framework Directive really is all about? Because you guys live and breathe this every day, but for us, it will be beneficial if we understand what we are truly talking about.
Yeah, actually, this Waste Frame Directive Not going into all details, but it's really setting the standard for how companies or everybody actually should treat their waste. So it's like putting in a hierarchy, like we know in Dutch, the ladder van Lansing, or the R ladder, it's also called.
Yeah.
It really puts a hierarchy to how to treat waste. So it really goes from like how to prevent it. That's of course the best. Like I said, the best ton of waste is the ton that doesn't exist.
Exactly.
And then you go from refuse, repair, to recycling, and then to the bottom you have like incineration with energy recuperation, or landfill. Those last ones we want to avoid, of course, because that's where the gas emissions are coming from.
And the Waste Framework Directive is part of the bigger Green Deal. As we are intent to become more circular, or otherwise say it, Europe has decided that we have to become more circular, and the first zero emission continent of the world by 2050. And part of that is to become more circular. And how you can become more circular is to reduce your waste. And it doesn't come by itself. I mean, there is some guidance needed, some ruling, some directive, also some regulations to set a sort of a playing field and to create rules in which all the companies, consumers have to adhere to achieve that goal eventually.
And actually then it's really the basis of other regulations that follow that directive, like the extended producer's responsibility.
The PWR and all those acronyms.
You got a lot of you got a lot of those, but in the end it means like, okay, how can we go to the circular economy, and whose responsibility is how to design a product, or what packaging do I use for that type of material, how to report everything back to governments and to both local as on international level, on how we are doing today.
Good. And the impact for our clients is, of course, huge, because if you want to recycle, you don't start at the end.
No.
You have to start at the beginning.
Yes.
You have to design a product that is to be recycled, that you can recycle or reuse or whatever. So it really starts at the design phase, and that's why the impact for our clients is so big.
That really has an impact on the full chain, right? That like Ron says, it starts at how to design a product, and then how to package.
Which materials to use.
Because in the end, that will be your waste, right? So, and if you want to put that waste as high on the R ladder as possible, to go to repair or reuse, or that's very important. Okay, then how can we make it recyclable?
Exactly, because if you look at the ultimately extended producer responsibility, the EPR legislation. In the old days, it was quite simple. You produce, you sell, end of story. And this time is you produce, you sell, but you still you are being responsible until end of life.
So you remain responsible until end of life of product.
Exactly. So you really have to think, the product through, and not only produce and sell and then throw away.
And specifically for that packaging and packaging waste regulation, it's really coming into effect August 2026. So it's really a hot topic now on how can we move. For some types of packaging, it's rather simple, but for a lot it's rather difficult, because then you add all the multi-layer, all the you don't want that anymore. Right? So that's the future, and like in 2030, it's hard legislation. All packaging needs to be recyclable.
But in 2026. It's a directive. It's a guideline. It's almost.
It's really already like legislation. On a European level. Let's put it like that. So every country needs, of course, to implement that. But it's only for very large companies, for specific situations, and then after that, it's coming more into effect for also smaller, mid-sized enterprises. More types of packaging. So to be eventually like in I think it was 2035 that it at scale everything needs to be recycled. So it's
And along the way it's quite complicated, because European Union sends out a directive. This has to be done towards the countries, and then the countries translate that directive into regulation. And that is the complicating factor, is that every country has a different regulation for the same to achieve the same directive.
Yeah.
27 countries, 27 rules. So if you are a company that sells in 27 countries, you might end up with 27 sets of rules that you have to adhere to.
Yeah.
And that could be a quite complicating factor. Yeah.
And I think that's also where as Seenons we try to make the difference, because we do waste management. We're currently active in over 20 countries. So with all specialists per country or even per region. If Belgium as an example, it has like 3 areas. It's a rather small country, but it has 3 areas, which has 3 different legislations on how to sort waste at the source. For
Wallonia, Flanders, and Brussels.
And Brussels, right? Yeah. So that's already a
29 set of rules.
If you go to Switzerland, it's even per canton. So Germany, it's like per Bundesland. So you have quite some regulations to adhere to. You have. And that is key in the whole story. You need to have the data that all those local authorities need to show that there is like a traceability. If you take responsibility as a producer or as a logistics company,
you have to data.
You have to show it. What is the traceability of that type of material? Show me that it has been recycled. How are you going to show that with data? And so that's we hear that it's like a bit, data is a bit the new gold, right? But
it is
true.
Absolutely.
And it's getting more and more important. But then you need to be able to collect that data, and we see a lot of assumptions in the market, a lot of
industry standards.
So. And that's where we help our customers, really collecting the data, granular data, normalized data, so that they can really report as realistic as possible towards whomever needs that data, but also it gives you the insights to steer upon.
Exactly. Eventually, there are a couple of things happening. First of all, you have your own goals. We want to be a sustainable company. We have set our KPI on recycling rate, but at the end, everything sums up to the one big corporate sustainability directive reporting. We have to report as a company, and waste management, waste data is part of that big CSR. So we really need to have all the data available for to be able to report in 28.
Well, and although you mean it informative, I'm pretty sure that some of our listeners are now breaking out a sweat, because it is quite a thing that is coming for them, right? So it's with all due respect, it's so far from their actual core activities, which is a beautiful product or service, marketing, sales, creating a brand, and then. With all due respect, they are blindsided by a legislation that is causing or is wreaking havoc in their teams, in their operations. So, what are other challenges that you see currently for the brands, for companies, to become, how would you call that, directive savvy?
Logistics in Europe is cross-border.
Yes.
Legislation is defined by the borders itself. So that's where it gets complicated. Breaking out in sweat, yes, I do understand. The best thing that you could do is start from what you have. Look at the legislation. What do I need and what do I have? And don't try to figure everything out to be perfect from the start, but just start from what you have and then add the data or improve the data or whatever is needed to get at the goal. I mean, it's going to be a journey. It's going to be sometimes difficult or hard to get, but you just have to start somewhere, and even with smaller steps, as long as the step is in the right direction towards that Waste Framework Directive and circularity, take that step. And ask your supplier, ask your logistic partner, what data do I need, or how can you help me? Or we're all in it together. You can't do it alone. It's supply chain, as they say. It's multi-elements. and there is nobody in that supply chain that can do it alone. You really need each other.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as a follow-up question. Is it even in any way possible to do it as a brand, all by itself, all?
I think it's really like, I totally agree with what Ron said. So it's really about collaboration and partnerships, because alone you cannot do it. You need designers, you need waste recycling infrastructure, you need people handling it in between. There's a lot of hands where the products go through, and everybody should be aligned, right? So
lots of parties.
It's about awareness. It's about human behavior. It's really easily said, huh?
Yeah.
but the details are like in the execution, of course.
Yeah.
And it's a process where we need to go through from getting from that linear model to that circular model.
Yeah.
And collaboration is really is key, and transparency as well. I always see that like some people, they invent something, but they keep it for themselves. But everybody should benefit from that. And I understand that there is like a financial model to that, but
it's going to change business models of companies. It's going to be a burden.
Yeah,
quite simple. It's
gonna be, in all honesty, we're Dutch, so we're in your face and honest. Yes, it is going to be a burden. Again, so far from the core of the company.
Yeah. And that's also that's a bit the role what Seenons takes. So we see ourselves like an extra colleague that sits next to Ron or to another person in charge of waste management. It's never really a core of that company, but we see it as our core, and it's our responsibility to make sure that you get a hassle-free service, that you make impact, that you save on your costs, because that's still important.
Of course.
And during the journey, that everybody stays compliant with all the regulations in place and in each region that they are active in. So that's really the four topics that we work on together with Bleckmann, but also together with our different customers in production, logistics, and retail mainly.
I predict that level of unburdening will definitely be in high demand. When this truly kicks in, so to speak. Ron, previously you said the best thing you can do is simply start.
Yes.
Don't wait until your processes or your approach is 100% designed, implemented, ready to go. Simply start and ease into it.
Yeah.
Do you have other, examples of practical steps that the brands can take to have somewhat of a start in this?
Look at your first of all, look at your process. Of course, that's obvious. That's a given.
Your own processes.
Your own processes, and sometimes it can be very easy.
Mm-hmm.
Why not reuse the boxes for your outbound shipments?
Yeah.
Use the same boxes that the goods came into. Use them for your outbound. That also reduces your waste. So that is a very simple step to take. Look at the materials. You are using. So each and every step, just have a look at it and see how and where you can improve it.
Yeah. And I think like we did, where we really focused on is also like what is today in the residual waste, and what can we take out and save as a raw material. So and you can start very small with that. It's sometimes type of plastic you take out, and we make sure that goes to recycling and that it's not lost as a raw material. Overall, you could also think about like initiatives to. You have, for example, also following this directive is the ban on destruction of goods.
Yes.
For example. So what an idea could also be is like together with your customers, see if we had an overproduction or if we have materials left, instead of destroying them, what else can we do?
Exactly. Do we have a second-hand market? Do we have? So you have your full retail price. If you don't have your full retail price, end of season, you have end of season sale. You got your returns from the operation, e-commerce or
absolutely
B2B channel. You got your returns. Is it really? How can we save those returns? Is there a possibility to clean, to repair, to give them a second life?
Yeah.
And that's where we, as Bleckmann, we have the renewal workshop, where we can help our clients to have those goods put back on the market in a second life, a third life, or mended, repaired, or whatever. So at the end of the story, instead of just throwing it away, shredded or whatever, to have it back in circulation again.
Yeah, and for the listeners and the viewers, that new rule is that you definitely cannot simply destroy your products anymore, and that means that where it used to be almost common practice to frequent the landfill, going forward that will not be an option. And so you need to start thinking about a second, third, or even fourth life for your product, even before you are producing it. So during your design stages. That's why we as Bleckmann and Seenons, of course, as well, are constantly thinking about what if. So returns, indeed, we have our own returns processes. A very large portion of the returns are put back into A-grade products so that they can be resold. If, however, not possible, B-grade can be sold via other channels, other regions, etc. And only then you start thinking about recycling and repurposing of the materials in the products. Simply putting it aflames is no longer an option.
No.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So how does our partnership put us ahead of this directive? Because I think the main message of this podcast to our brands, to companies out there, is reach out to us and let's team up. Yeah. But how will that be beneficial to the brands? Why should they not figure it out on themselves?
Yeah, I think there are like a lot of common practices to be shared. I believe that we talked about the pilot of the 4 sites, indeed, and that's a good learning, I guess. In those 4 sites, we identified all kinds of challenges on sorting, on residual waste containing still a lot of recyclable materials, data missing, but it was very easily expandable to all sites of
copy-paste.
So it was like we have a central policy. We want to put it in place like this and this and that.
Yeah.
And each has his own flavor because each brand or each site has a bit of different type of materials, for example, type of customers, of course, and we adapt to that. But like 80-90% is easily to be copied.
Yeah. It's a strong and proven process, proven tool, so to speak.
And going to other logistics providers or to other producers, either in fashion but also in the food industry, or you always have that kind of overlap and knowledge on how to organize things, to collect your data, but also on what infrastructure is in place in that region, in that country, to make sure that material XYZ are really being recovered and get the best possible purpose out there. So
that and of course what you stated earlier, waste is not our core business. Waste is not the core business of our clients.
No.
Well, to be frankly, they don't know everything. You need a partner, a specialist who is really deep into that matter and those subjects. So if we have a question on waste, cardboard, batteries, whatever is coming from an operation, or if it comes to legislation or data, with Seenons we do have a partner, just a phone call away and say, hey Stijn, help us out.
Yeah.
Because we or our client has a specific question on waste in Belgium, in France, or whatever.
He says Stijn, but he means like the whole team.
Well, of course, but you're our main point of contact. So normally I shy away from scare tactics, but please start. Brands, companies, please start, reach out, start thinking about this directive that is coming to play, that is going to be demanding a lot from you as a brand, and together we can unburden each other, and the 3 of us, the 4 of us can form strong alliances to make this part of the day-to-day instead of an unsurmountable mountain, so to speak.
Yeah. Well put.
Yeah, and unfortunately, even though I can go on and on with you guys because I would really want to go down to the details, but unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this podcast. And I think we've given our listeners a very good idea about why we have teamed up and what the goals are, and simply the gains of working together on a shared goal. Yeah. But without a doubt, there will be many questions coming from the brands, and some of it will be in your corner, Stijn. Some of it will be in your corner, Ron.
Huh?
How can people reach out to you, Stijn, or your team, as you said, to get down to the dirty business, so to speak?
Yeah. Okay. Good waste is dirty waste.
Good waste is dirty.
No, it's no. Of course, you can reach out via our website, www.seenons.com. Fill out a contact form. You can also look me up on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
Stijn Smetsers, and happy to help, happy to connect and see what we could do.
Sure. Thank you. And even though, of course, the whole Bleckmann team is standing by for your questions and your invitations to work together. Ron, as our point man, how can people reach out to you and have some debate?
Yeah, same. The website, www.bleckmann.com. You go to the tab Sustainability, and there you can find my credentials and my contact details.
Good. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to stay on top of everything that is developing, the trends in fashion and lifestyle logistics. Follow us on our socials and make sure to tune in for the next podcast. Until then, my name is Erik Janssen Steenberg, and see you soon.